The defendant opened a lounge, a bar, below you. How many times did she complain about your business?
Every day.
She says the smoke was wafting up into her apartment. Would that be annoying to you?
We had fans to push that smokes away.
Two $20 fans.
This is Judy Justin. Cindy Sonbole is suing hookah lounge owner Mohammed El Amira for moving costs and lost wages.
Court come to order.
Be seated, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 1111, Soberlease versus El Amira.
Pronounce the first name.
Sonbole.
Soberlease.
Sonbole.
Yes, perfect.
Miss Sonbole, the case is relatively simple. In fact, you have an apartment. Your apartment is over a commercial premises. The defendant opened a lounge, a bar, below you. And it is your claim that the bar was not only a nuisance, but a health risk to you, causing you to have to move out of your apartment. I think you did, in fact, move out of your apartment. And you want him to pay for your doctor bills, moving costs, etc., and for being a public nuisance. The defendant has a counterclaim in the same amount of your claim, which is $10,000. And he says your behavior, and he does in fact refer to you in what I assume is a pejorative term. You caused distress to his customers, you caused him, your behavior caused him to have to hire a new manager or a manager. He's got a counterclaim, all of which is probably nonsense. How long had you been living in your apartment?
5 years.
When did you take control of the store below the plaintiff's apartment?
Last year in May.
May of 2020?
Yes.
And this was supposed to be what kind of premises?
It's a cafe and hookah lounge.
I know cafe. I have never personally been to a hookah lounge. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So I want you to explain to me what that is.
It's like a kind of a place people can gather.
Well,
like
it's a cafe.
a cafe, yeah.
Where you smoke.
Yes.
What do you smoke?
It's a tobacco.
Just tobacco?
Yeah, it's like in a hookah and based on kind of flavors.
Okay, so there are no drugs in it.
No.
And the main purpose of going there is to be able to smoke.
So to smoke and relax, study, meet your friends, have coffee.
What city do you live in?
San Diego?
In California?
Yes.
So you must need a specific permit to open a hookah lounge.
Correct.
Because restaurants, I believe in California, if I'm not mistaken, don't allow smoking indoors.
Yes, it is.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It's allowed to smoke inside the door.
You're allowed to smoke?
Yeah, as in the business.
You serve alcohol?
No,
None.
none.
Do you serve food?
Yes, but simply plates, smaller plates.
So it's a restaurant as well?
Yes, it is.
Have you applied for a liquor license?
Yes, I did.
So you'll be serving both food and alcohol?
Yes.
In California, restaurants permit or don't permit, without a special permit, smoking indoors, is my question. Is my understanding that most places now don't allow indoor smoking?
Smoking and vaping indoors in restaurants is banned by California law.
Right. So there must be a special permit for you to have a place where people go purposely to smoke.
Yes.
Sarah's going to verify that and give me a shout when you verify that. Okay, so May 2020, you moved into this premises. And what kind of business had been there before?
Furniture store.
Ever had any trouble with the furniture store? Don't shake your head.
Oh, no, ma'am.
This is actually a walkie and a talkie and a visual, so you have to
No,
answer
Your
me.
Honor.
Okay. Did you have to do any construction?
Yes, I did.
What kind of construction did you have to do? Because this case is a simple one.
I had to build a grease trap and fully kitchen and some decoration stuff.
And decorations. Don't cross your arms.
Oh, sorry.
You had to build a grease trap, a kitchen, and some decorations.
Yeah, like completely was from the scratch, actually.
When did you open?
I opened 20th of September, 2020.
While you were building, did you meet the plaintiff?
So she came and asked me, like, what are you going to do here? I didn't answer her. I just like said, you need to ask my people who's working here. I'm just an owner here.
Well, what kind of answer is that?
I'm telling you why. She came out and she asked me where I'm from. I said, I'm from Jordan. And
No, she came in and said to you, what kind of business are you putting in here? And your answer to her, which you said first was, I don't know, you have to ask the workers, I'm just the owner here. That's what you just said to me. Would you read that back?
He said, yes, she came and asked me, what are you going to do here? I didn't answer her. I said, you need to ask my people who work here. I'm just the owner here.
Can't say why?
You want to tell me why you answered her that
Yeah,
way?
because-
I don't care why you answered her that way. Was that the first time you met her? That's either a yes or a no.
She was recording me.
I asked you a
Okay, yes,
simple question.
yes.
That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
When did you put in a ventilation system?
I don't remember exactly the date.
When did you put in a ventilation system in your place of business?
When we started having the problem.
That's a date. Listen to me. That's a date. That's either September, October, November.
October.
So in October, how much did that cost you?
Like almost $6,000.
Now, you were in the premises from May until September 20th, when you say you opened the hookah lounge with a lot of smoke, because that's why people come there. They come there because they can't go anyplace else to smoke tobacco and eat and drink, so they come to you. But you didn't put in a ventilation system to deal with all that smoke until after you opened. So the answer is you opened first and then put in a ventilation system.
We had fans to push the smokes away.
You want to answer my question? That's either a yes or a no. You opened first and then put in a $6,000 ventilation system instead of two $20 fans. Now you're going to show me proof that her whole objective was to blackmail you for money.
Sure. So the thing is, from the beginning I started.
I don't want to know your story from the beginning.
But
I know the story.
If I have...
Now 10 million people hopefully will know the story.
Cindy Sonbole says hookah lounge owner Mohammed El Amira owes for her moving costs and lost wages. Mohammed is countersuing, claiming Cindy caused him to lose business at his hookah lounge.
You understand where I'm going, sir?
I understand.
Okay, and I say that to you. I say that, hands. I say that to you because I was pretty distressed about your answer. And I was distressed about it because you referred to her as a name that I actually didn't know what that meant. Because as people around me know, I'm operating in a different century, still in the 20th century, not the 21st century. So her case is simple. She says the smoke was wafting up into her apartment where she had lived for 5 years, and she complained to you about it. Tell me the first time that the plaintiff complained to you about the smoke that was coming up into her apartment. Do you recall the month and date?
So in September or ending of August, I used to come to the lounge to check up on the construction work.
Okay.
So Miss Sydney, she comes down to me when she see my car and started to record me by her phone for no reason. And she came up to me and she asked me that about what you gonna do here. I told her, like, you need to ask my employees. I'm just the owner. That's why my answer. So she started to record me. After that, she came up again to me and she said, what kind of business it is? I said, it's a hookah and coffee shop. And she comes back again next day and the day after, every day. She's recording me, trying to go inside the lounge, making a problem with me and the employees, screaming and yelling for no reason.
Oh, were you there when she was screaming?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Now, she's recorded you, right, going in and out of the store. So evidently, you're pretty savvy. Did you record her doing the screaming and yelling?
I never
Just a
recorded.
second. Did you ever record her doing this screaming and yelling at you and your employees?
I have a footage from the camera of the business.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
So that was after the opening.
I'm not talking about after the opening. I'm talking about before the opening.
Before
You said
the
that there
opening-
was a problem with her before.
So, like, I wasn't even give her space. I don't want to talk to her. Like, I don't want to be like in a situation.
You have to understand something, sir. You're opening up an annoying business.
Okay.
It's an annoying business, not to people who live 10 blocks away, but it's potentially an annoying business for someone who has a home for 5 years above that business. You do understand that, sir?
I do understand.
Okay. Do you have a home or do you have an apartment?
Apartment.
Do you know your neighbors?
No, I don't.
Are they quiet?
Very quiet.
If you have a lounge, you must sleep a good time during the day so that you can be at your lounge restaurant.
I have other businesses too.
Okay. When do you sleep?
At night?
At night, regularly.
Yes.
Regular businesses. Now, I want you to think if they leased or rented or sold the apartment that's next door to you to a piano school, to somebody who is living in the apartment and decides to give piano lessons in their apartment. And they give their piano lessons after they work. So 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, sometimes early in the morning before kids go to school. You have a 7:30 piano lesson, and that goes on all the time. Would that be annoying to you? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes, it would be annoying.
Of course, it would be annoying. Do you rent your apartment or do you own it?
I own it.
So you would go to the board, because you're a smart guy, and you would say, the person who lives next door to me is doing piano teaching on the side, doing it at all hours of the day and night. I want you to stop them from doing that. That's what you would do, right?
Correct.
Been there, done that. And you would think that you were in the right because someone was invading your quiet enjoyment of your property.
Correct.
So it would seem to me that if someone wanted to give piano lessons next door, the person who owns the apartment next door gets a letter, cease and desist from giving piano lessons unless you can build in your apartment a soundproof room where you're going to give those piano lessons so it's not going to bother your neighbor. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
And then if somebody said to you, your board said to you, we told them that they either had to stop or build a soundproof room so that the neighbor wouldn't be disturbed by that, you're a reasonable guy, and you said, I'll try it. And then they built a soundproof room. You would have actually, because all this is taking time, and while this is taking time, while the board is convening, and while you're giving evidence, and while you're complaining, you're still being, because nobody's told them to stop playing piano. They're still playing piano, and you're still not sleeping. Finally, they build a soundproof room, and that takes time. Now, how long did it take you to put in this $6,000 system that you put in?
Actually, I put more than that. I put soundproofing.
Just a second.
Okay.
Let's start with the $6,000 ventilation system that you put in after you opened. Now, you'd been working on the property, so we already know what this is about. It's all about being a good neighbor.
Correct.
That is lost today. You were working, am I correct, Whitney, since you took the lease in May of 2020?
Yes, May of 2020.
And you didn't open until late September 20th.
Right.
And you knew about her because she came in August. She said, by the way, I live upstairs. What's the capacity of your cafe?
150.
I'm going to have 150 people whose sole purpose in coming to my place is to smoke and drink indoors. So before I put up my decorations, I better check the ventilation system because there are people who live in this building.
We did check.
Evidently not good enough.
I have proof from the Air Quality Center.
Not in her apartment.
So-
Because if it's all good,
the building upstairs.
listen to me, if it's all good, then a businessman like you would not put in a $6,000 system after you moved in. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right. You're a business guy, and if everything was 100% efficient and there was no smoke going up into her apartment, there is no way that you would have invested $6,000 in another ventilation system after you moved in. Now, you started to say, I not only put in a $6,000 ventilation system after I moved in, but I also soundproofed it.
Yes.
You're going to have to show me proof. What month did you soundproof it?
So
What? Not a so. So is not a month. January, February, March, April, May, June, July,
So
August, September. Month.
we closed the business for 3 months due to the COVID.
Just a second.
Okay.
Month.
January?
So January of 2021
Yes.
is when you. Do you understand where I'm going, sir? You put
I
in a
completely
ventilation
understand.
system. You had 3 months to put up decorations. You were having 150 people whose sole reason to be in your club is to smoke. Otherwise, if you're a non-smoker, you stay as far away from smoke as possible. And you had somebody who came to you, according to you, in August and said, what kind of business are you putting here? Your response to her is, I don't know, ask my employees. I'm just the owner. You chose to renovate your place, put on all the bells and whistles for 150 people, but didn't contemplate that 150 people smoking could filter up, and the noise from that, do you also play music?
Yes, we do.
Yes. And you didn't think that that would be annoying?
I did think.
Cindy Sonbole is accusing business owner Mohammed El Amira of forcing her to move after he opened his hookah lounge. Mohammed claims Cindy regularly harassed him and his customers.
Now, I want you to think about, you're living in your apartment that you own. How much did you pay for your apartment?
$500,000.
$500,000. Now, you're living in your $500,000 piece of real estate, and you see your next door neighbor moving in 4 pianos, and you walk up and you say, gee, that's sort of, why are you moving in, not 1, not 4, 2 pianos? So if you asked your neighbor, why do you need 2 pianos? And they said to you, it's none of your business. And then they proceeded to give piano lessons to people in the apartment, on the side, for cash. It would annoy you because you had a $500,000 investment in your property. And the reason I'm coming down as hard as I am about you, sir, is she complained reasonably. She had been living there quietly for 5 years. And you didn't soundproof this 150-person facility until January of 2021, and you opened it in September of 2020. And you didn't vent it until, if I believe you, October of 2020.
The issue, we haven't had any complaints from the tobacco or any music loud, only from her, among of all the residents. Maybe only other one, but so far, since she left.
Just a second. I very rarely ask this question, sir.
Sure.
But because trained lawyers don't ask this kind of question, sir. She's been living in her apartment for 5 years. Why do you think she moved?
She wants money.
No. You mean she moved because she wants money?
Yes. I have proof.
No. You mean because she asked you for money?
She asked us.
She asked you. I'll put it to you this way. You think if the furniture store was still there, she would have moved? I'm asking you a question. Do you think if the furniture store was still there, she would have moved?
If she be the owner, she wouldn't move.
How many times did she complain about your business?
Oh, every day.
Every day. How many times did she call the authorities to your business?
Every single day.
How many times do you think she called the authorities when the furniture store was there?
Because there was nobody there, so there was, so it's very obvious, a nuisance to the area.
Now you're going to show me proof that her whole objective was to blackmail you for money.
Sure. So the thing is, from the beginning I started.
I don't want to know your story from the beginning.
Well,
I know the story.
If I have...
Now 10 million people, hopefully, will know the story. Proof. Don't say anything. Show me proof.
So she moved the day after we banned her from the lounge to come in.
What did he just say?
Show you.
He said he banned her from the lounge to come in.
And there is a special permit for hookah lounges, but they differ county by county, the regulations.
What is this that you're showing me?
So she been banned February 25th.
I don't care if this is a letter written by somebody, operations manager.
Yes.
You were going to show me. You said she's...
Can I say something for 2 minutes? So what happened is, she protesting for the liquor license of my lounge. So I came to the landlord. Me and him, we had a conversation about Miss Sydney.
I don't want to hear anything about a conversation you had with the landlord.
I offered her money for almost $2,000 to move out from her apartment.
You offered her money to move out of her apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
And she said, I want more money.
She said, I will take the money first. But after we prepare the documents and everything, we send it out to her house to sign it. She said no. She first said yes for the money, but she wanted more money to sign the documents. She said no.
You were giving her how much money to move out?
She asked for $2,000.
No, and that's what you were going to give her, $2,000 in moving mode.
Yes.
What was your rent in this apartment?
$1,080.
How big was it?
It's a little bit over 400 square feet.
What kind of place do you have now?
It's half the size, but it's quiet, and there's no smoking.
How much do you pay in rent?
$1,275.
Do you understand? She moved into an apartment that's either the same size or smaller than she had. She's paying an extra, almost $300 a month in rent to get away from you.
Not to get away from me. Because people who live in
Just a second.
They already smoking weed every day in the same building.
What?
They're smoking weed, the residents at the place, every single day. I can smell it from my lounge. And I see them party on the balcony every single day with drinking, and I told the landlord too about it.
Just a second. So what you're telling me, you complained to the landlord because you saw other tenants in the building smoking weed? You can't tell me that, sir, because you don't have witnesses here. You don't have witnesses here. She didn't have any problem before. What I'm saying to you is, you chose to renovate your place, put on all the bells and whistles for 150 people, but didn't contemplate that 150 people smoking could filter up, and the noise from that. Do you also play music in your club?
Yes, we do.
And you didn't think that that would be annoying?
I did think.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $10,000. Your counterclaims dismissed. We're done.
Court is adjourned.
Yeah, I did go down and say something, but it wasn't how he said it.
I already offered her money, but she was more like greedy.
I'm so glad I'm out.
The thing is, she keep calling the police. We're doing illegal stuff in the lounge. We had the police came up and inspected all of the lounge a couple of times, but nothing is wrong.
You know, having had a life experience, you bring as a judge whatever life experience that you have. And I can only remember one life experience that I had that was this kind of acute. We were living in a home, and a neighbor of ours had a couple of kids, and their kids didn't make the lacrosse team at school. So what this neighbor decided to do was flatten a mountain without permits to build a lacrosse field on his property and make his own lacrosse team. The only problem is, didn't put in proper drainage, so my house was flooded with mud and debris. And when I complained, well, then I was called a bad neighbor because, after all, you were doing this for the kids. I said, well, I have a swimming pool that's now half full of mud. Eventually, the matter was resolved in my favor. You did something to interfere with the quiet enjoyment of your neighbor's property. There are too many people like that gentleman who says, you're not my problem. I don't have to think about you and what I do, how it's going to impact on you.
I think it's all about an attitude change, and I think that you have to be a responsible citizen and make good choices.
Responsible behavior is something that better come back into vogue.
I agree.
You left the house and hit the side of their car, causing damage.
So when I came home, she's yelling in my face. He came running out and started punching on me from behind and stumping my face out. I'm trying to hurry up and grab my keys so I can leave.
That's a lot.
Don't speak.
She's sitting here lying to you.
Don't speak.
This is Judy Justice. L'Oreal Foston and Deshaun Johnson are suing their former friend and roommate, Jasmine Stiegel, for unpaid rent, a broken memorial, and vehicle damages.
Court come to order.
Be seated, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 1138, Foster Johnson versus Stigall.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your last name is?
Boston.
Miss Foston. This young man is your boyfriend. He is the father of a young child that you have.
Yes.
The defendant was a friend of yours. The two of you decided to room together and to get an apartment together.
Correct.
In what month and year?
August of 2020.
Anybody have a copy of that lease?
I do.
I'd like to see it. Case is a relatively simple one. I will outline it. Things didn't work out between at least the two of you, probably the three of you. Thank you. You allege that the defendant breached the lease by moving out. You say the day that she did, in fact, move her things out for the second time, she purposely damaged your car by sideswiping it. And during that same period of time, she broke a vase, some sort of a vase that had sentimental value because it belonged to your boyfriend.
Yes, ma'am.
Those are the three things that we're here for. And the sentimental value of the vase is really not something that I'm getting involved in. Does he have any other interest in this case? Did he own the car?
Oh, he is co-owner of the car.
He is co-owner of the car. Well, then he can stand there.
And I do have a video.
Okie dokie. Well, this was important. This is important for me to read. So you signed this lease. L'Oreal Faston. Raise your hand.
Boston.
Jasmine Stiegel. Who is that?
Right here.
Those are the two people that are allowed to be in the apartment.
Right.
That's what it says. List the name of the residents who will live in the apartment. Where did he come from?
We were staying together. He was going through something legally, and at first we weren't going to move together.
Yada, 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 yada. This lease was signed July 20th, 2020. So you moved in on?
The 9th of August, I believe.
Okay. Did you have a discussion with the plaintiff, your friend, about the boyfriend moving in?
She did say that he was gonna come live with. I didn't know that.
No, don't tell me what you didn't know. I asked you about a discussion. When you moved in, the landlord didn't know he was going to be there.
Right.
But did you know that he was going to be there?
I knew he was there all along, but I didn't know he was coming with. No, I thought it was just going to be me and her daughter.
That's my question.
Yes.
So let's just try to not have any attitude here but mine.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, that's fine.
When the two of you decided to rent this apartment together, did she have a child?
Yes.
How old was that child?
She was, so she was about 8 months.
And you knew who her father was?
I knew of him, but I didn't know him.
But you knew who he was?
I met him, like, physically, and, like, I had first seen him, like, when he came to the apartment.
But you had never seen him before?
No.
That's a lie.
So,
Sorry.
Never seen that man before.
if she saw you before, sir, you were forgettable.
With her knowledge.
That didn't require an answer. It was my punchline. Bottom line is, when you moved in, it was your understanding that she was not with him.
Right.
When did he show up?
The day that we were all moving in.
Is that when you first saw him?
Yes.
Now, so that I understand it and believe it, tell me why his name wasn't listed here as a person who was going to be in the apartment. Not an Look at me and explain that to me.
I didn't want him on the lease at the time.
It doesn't say he has to be on the lease. It says he was a person who was going to live in the apartment.
Right. I did tell the management company, or
Don't tell me what you told them. That's hearsay. Is there a reason why his name wasn't listed as a person who was going to be moving in? Listen, Miss Foston, if I were moving into a 2-bedroom apartment, which is what you were moving into, and I had either never met or met once briefly another person who was going to be living there, and that person showed up on the day that I was moving in, it would be irritating.
Right. And
Just a second. It would be irritating. So I want you to tell me, so that this face believes it, when you uncross.
Sorry.
When you told your friend who was moving in with you, and not only moving in with you, but you had a kid that cries, that gets up during the night, so she was moving, and you were splitting expenses. 50-50?
No. It was split evenly between the three of us.
When you first moved in, when did you and she discuss that?
Prior to us moving in, she did know that we were all...
No, don't tell me what you knew. When did you tell her? Because you started to tell me before, and you're going to read back to me. All the way at the very beginning, she started to give me some sort of story. He was going through some sort of trouble, difficulty where he was. It was going to be a whole...
She said we were staying together. He was going through something legally, and at first we weren't going to move together.
Do you remember you said that?
Right.
Thank you, Whitney.
I was originally going to sign the lease alone. I invited her to join my lease after she had gotten kicked out of where she was staying already. She was homeless, winter was coming, so me being a friend to her, I invited her to...
Can I interrupt, please?
I asked you a simple question.
And I answered.
When did you discuss with her that your first name is Deshawn?
Yes, ma'am.
That Deshawn was part of the package?
He was all along.
No.
All along.
I want you to tell me when.
A date, like a specific date. It was before we moved in, so...
So let's hear the discussion. We talked about moving in together, signing a lease together, and you said, Deshawn is moving in with me, but he's not on the lease.
Yes.
What was he going through? What was he... Remember what you just read?
Yeah.
What was he going through that maybe you were not going to move in together?
He had a charge pending.
What charge pending?
I'm not sure exactly.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
I had a felony theft that's working on getting dismissed right now.
So he has a pending felony charge, which is either a grand larceny or a robbery, because that's a theft. You know, theft of services, like when you jump a turnstile, isn't a felony. Not even something that they stop people for anymore. Okay. And that's still pending, so I'm not going to ask you anything about it. Is that the only thing you have pending?
No, ma'am.
Okie dokie. Excellent judgment on your part.
I was explaining
Excellent
what I had.
judgment on your part.
Yes,
Let's move on. How old are you?
I'm 22.
22. Super duper.
That has nothing to do
I'm not.
with-
That didn't require an answer. It was a statement. It is their claim that you purposely hit the side of their car, causing damage. I'm going to see the video, and then you're going to explain to me your version of what happened.
Okay, yeah.
Great.
Lori L. Foston and Deshaun Johnson claim their former friend and roommate, Jasmine Stiegel, owes for a broken memorial and vehicle damages. Jasmine is countersuing, claiming Deshaun assaulted her.
Now, okay, this is what your claim is about, because now I'm going to make really, really short shrift of this. Things didn't work out. Things didn't work out between the two of you. And it is your claim that when there was a fight between the two of you, she moved out. She says that not only was there constant fighting between the two of you, but I think somewhere in here, let me see in this answer, that they were constantly fighting, but she had had it when they started selling drugs out of the apartment. That's what she says.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's not
It's just,
true.
don't speak. I want you to tell me what you saw that suggested to you that they were selling drugs out of the apartment.
Your Honor, you know, I work all day as a personal trainer. So when I came home, I seen gambling in the kitchen, him and his friends. It was a whole bunch of people. I felt super uncomfortable. And it's just like, when I come home, I have to go straight to my room and shut my door. With
No,
all these
what I
people
wanna
out there,
know
and
is-
weed all on the table, full bags, pounds of full of weed, and smoke everywhere.
So you're talking about bags of marijuana on the table.
Yes.
And he and his friends sitting in the kitchen playing cards and smoking.
Yes,
Okay, fine. It's enough to move out.
it is.
I'm just telling you, it's enough to move out.
And the domestically broken windows
Just a
and
sec.
glasses.
Okay.
I'm here because she hit my vehicle with hers.
Just a second. Just a second. You're here because you say that
she
she
wants the
broke
police as well.
that she broke the lease.
And she hit my vehicle.
Just a second.
with hers.
I
That's my
know
main
all
point.
the components of your case. Now, I have not asked you. I'm going to ask him because I don't know where you were. Now, were you and your friends playing cards in the kitchen?
Listen.
That's either a yes or a no.
I don't even play cards, ma'am.
Were you
No.
and your friends?
No, ma'am.
You didn't even wait for my question, so I'm not going to ask the question. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
She had a right to move out.
That wasn't when she moved out, and it wasn't the reason she moved
I don't
out.
listen. That's a reason.
happened.
That's a reason to move out.
But it didn't happen.
What didn't happen? You mean smoking weed
In
your house?
selling weed out of my house, that did not happen. No, ma'am.
Nor gambling.
Jars
Playing
full
cards.
of weed
none of that.
and bags.
You mean everything was fine in the house? Is that what you're telling me? You never fought with Deshaun.
We fight like couples do.
No,
but
no.
I never involved her in anything.
No. There's a difference between physical fighting
We
and
did not
screaming.
physically fight.
Yes, because
Breaking-
that's not the first time he put his hands on me. Actually, this is like the third time. So when they fought and I tried to break it up, because my niece that I was claiming that's her daughter, she was right there and she was just screaming for her life. So I just picked her up and then I went in there to break it up to try to, you know, isolate the situation and have them like go take their breaks from each other or whatever. And I even tried to talk to them. I tried to talk to her plenty of times. Like I sat there like, you know, are we good? Are we okay? Like what's going on? I talked to him telling him like, you know, your daughter is in this house. She needs to be around supervision that is something that's going to benefit her and she's going to grow up and be something, you know, not around all of this destruction that's going to literally destroy her childhood, her
I got it.
adolescence.
I just said that I believe you, and the portion of her complaint that is charging you for breaking the lease and moving out, I'm dismissing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's it. Now, the next thing she has, breach of lease, is out. Damaged memorial. There was a fight in the house. Deshaun, I want you to think about this carefully. She came in with a property manager. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, she had been in the day before, because the day before is when she started to move all of her stuff out. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So far, we're on the same page. And then there were some things she left behind, so she came back with the property manager. And you were in the apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had other people in the apartment that were either your friends or relatives.
It was my sister and her boyfriend.
Did you answer the door, or did she just walk in with the apartment manager?
I answered the door.
I went
So
to
you
get-
were at home also?
Yes, ma'am.
That means the baby was home.
Yes.
At some point, when she was there to collect her things, Deshaun, the property manager left.
Yes, ma'am. because she's
Uncomfortable.
The property manager left.
Yes, ma'am.
When the property manager left, Deshawn, had there been some arguing between the defendant, you, your girlfriend, and maybe your sister and her boyfriend? Had there been any arguing? That's either...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the arguing was about what, Deshawn?
About her belongings. She was trying to bum rush her way inside our home, putting her hands all in L'Oreal's face.
Just a second. No. She came in with the property manager.
Yes, ma'am.
She came to retrieve the rest of her belongings with the property manager.
Which was by the door in one box of hair products, barely anything.
Who put them in the box?
L'Oreal.
Okay, so she decided what was hers and put it in a box near the door. Just don't, I'm not asking you anything.
I'm not saying anything.
Good. So your girlfriend decided what was hers in the apartment, put it near the door.
Yes, ma'am.
And she was there with the property manager, and she wanted to walk around the apartment to see if there was anything else there.
But yes, ma'am.
Right. And then there was arguing. That's all your stuff, that's all there is.
Yes, ma'am. But I'm saying the reason why L'Oreal felt uncomfortable with her coming inside the apartment because my niece was there as well. And she felt uncomfortable because of how she was going about the situation. Nobody knew if she was going to break anything else.
Just a second. Listen to me carefully.
Yes, ma'am.
The property manager was there.
She even walked away
The
because...
property manager was there
Yeah.
because there was yelling going on. One person isn't yelling. One person isn't yelling, that's a psychotic person, walks around the street yelling.
Yes, ma'am.
There was yelling going on from everybody.
No.
Really, only one person yelling.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, why would she be yelling if she was going around the apartment looking for her things?
She came to the door aggressively, banging like the police, like SWAT team or something.
Okay.
Gonna kick the door down.
All right, let's... Okay,
Early
so
in
the
the morning.
property manager left. After the property manager left,
She was disgusted with her actions.
Your Honor, do you give me a chance to speak, please?
Just a second.
Okay.
I have a case here that I really have zero interest in.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I really have zero interest in the plant that got broken that has a value of $50 that had sentimental value for him because somebody signed the pottery. I'm really not interested in. I'm interested in this case for two things and two things only. One, breach of lease,
Right.
which I find that you had reason to breach. Two, money owed for damaged vehicle. Now, is that what you want to show me a video of?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I'm going to see it because at the same time that you
right.
came to get the rest of your stuff, the property manager left. It is their claim that you purposely left the house and, in a fit, hit the side of their car, causing damage.
Right.
I'm going to see the video, and then you're going to explain to me your version of what happened.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that's all I'm interested in.
Okay, Your Honor.
Great. Oh, yeah, you hit her car.
Hit and run. No license as well. Suspended.
I didn't ask you a question. Now, you have to understand, that's the only thing left in this case.
Right.
Is that video which shows your car hitting her
hers.
car
Yes.
square on and then going around it.
I actually was kind of swerving when I backed out because he was coming after me. And I had anxiety. As you can see, I'm shaking right now. But he came running out and literally knocked me down from behind and started punching on me from behind and stumping my face out. That's how I got the sty in my eye. And then his sister came out after I got up, and then we started fighting. And then that's when he jumped back in and jumped me. And then I'm trying to hurry up and grab my stuff and my phone and my keys so I can leave. And they're right there, all like, literally surrounding me, trying to jump me and stuff, putting their hands on me. He's knocking me, hitting
Your
me.
Honor, I never touched
And then
her.
I'm
I
trying to
went
run.
back into the house.
Just a second. I didn't ask you anything.
I just wanted to make sure that you know that.
Just a second. I didn't ask you anything. I'm here to tell you you have lousy judgment. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, I paid it, it didn't have a stamp on the envelope, it didn't go through my bank. I can't tell you how many times. I can't count them on both fingers and toes.
L'Oreal Foston and Deshawn Johnson have accused their former friend, Jasmine Stiegel, of intentionally damaging L'Oreal's car. Jasmine claims she was assaulted by Deshawn.
Okay, actually, there's only one person that I feel sorry for.
I bet.
And that person
The same
is
person who had
under
gotten
a
kicked
year
out of
old.
another house.
And that person is under a year old.
She's very well taken care of. She
Well,
didn't witness any of this happening. And
wonderful.
I'm sure that that's why
I said to you, don't
because
speak.
she was causing commotion.
Listen,
in front of my kid, and that's why I asked her to leave.
I want you to clearly understand this. She's not paying for the rest of your lease, and she's
fine.
paying to fix your car. You still have lousy judgment.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I saw the damage to the car, and now I'd like to see an estimate to have it fixed.
Your Honor, I have also...
Don't speak. Just estimate. Down. Sarah, I want you to look up the value of a 2015 Hyundai Sonata with 100,000 miles on it. Did you have insurance on this car?
I did.
Just a second. This cost to repair is $7,600. Did the insurance company pay you to fix it?
No.
That's what this says. Insurance paid.
That's just the quote from the, how they wrote it out at the
what?
body shop.
Just a second. Did you report it to the insurance company?
Yes,
Of course you did. And the name of the insurance company?
Progressive.
And did Progressive come out and look at the car?
No, they weren't. They said they wouldn't cover it.
Show me a letter from them that said that they wouldn't cover
Is it okay if I look at my phone?
Absolutely.
So an estimate for a 2015 Hyundai Sonata with 100,000 miles, it says 8,500 to 10,000.
Okay, while she's looking for that, you have a counterclaim for assault. So my question to you is, after this incident that happened on the 12th, did you ever, on the 12th, 13th, or 14th, seek medical attention? That's a yes or a no.
No.
Did you take any photographs of your injuries that you allege you sustained on April 12th?
Yes, right
I'd like
here.
to see it.
May I show you text messages about the car as well, please, of them taunting me?
Of them taunting you?
Yes.
No, not interested. Okay. Did you find a letter from your insurance company?
No, they didn't send me a letter. It was a phone call. What I have is the claim number and everything, but I don't have an email from them saying that. They called me and told me that they wouldn't be covering it.
What kind of insurance do you have on the car? Just
coverage.
liability? You have full coverage?
Yes.
Well, if you have full coverage, they should be paying for it with a deductible.
Right. So what happened was my first payment, I had just gotten the car. So apparently my first payment, my initial payment for the insurance company, for whatever reason, it got sent back to my bank account.
So you had,
they said
just
I
a
wasn't-
second. So what you're saying is you had
I had to reinstate
you
it
had
back.
no insurance.
And I didn't know.
I don't care whether you knew or you didn't know. You just got a car.
I had
and
insurance before I left off the lot.
And you didn't have insurance because if you say you had full coverage, you had full coverage, but it wasn't paid. Did you have a loan on the car?
Yes, ma'am.
And despite the fact that you signed documents that said that you would have insurance on the car,
Which I did.
Which you did not.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I fixed it that day. I got it reinstated as soon as I found out that it wasn't covered. But
Do
when
you-
I left the lot, I did have insurance.
Do you understand
I
what
had
I'm
insurance.
saying to you?
Yes, ma'am, I had
The day of this incident, which is, I mean, I've been doing this now. This is my 26th year of adjudicating these
surprise,
kinds
no,
of
I did not
cases.
on that day.
And I can't tell you how many people have said to me, I paid it, it didn't have a stamp on the envelope, it didn't go through my bank, and that is the time period when I had this accident. I can't tell you how many times, I can't count them on both fingers and toes, where there was a non-payment and a cancellation of, because if there's non-payment and a cancellation of the policy, they always send you a warning. A warning. So you're going to have to suck part of this up yourself. You can't hit her car. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Your
She
Honor, I
wants
had
$7,000 to fix her car. I'm going to give her $2,500 because she can have this car fixed for $5,000, and the other $25,000 she's going to pay herself because she didn't have insurance on something
ma'am.
that she was supposed to have
I did
insurance
have
on.
insurance. I even offered to put her on my insurance because her vehicle isn't insured, and I can show you the text messages.
Very good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. Your claim for assault is dismissed because you have no proof of an
Honor, what
assault.
about my-
We are finished.
Court is adjourned.
I respect the judge once again.
It's not even going to be enough to get it repaired now.
He was just crazy, breaking everything, and he put his hands on me, so.
She could have called the police or anything like that if that was true, you feel me?
Even though it looks like I'm going slow and did it intentionally, but I really didn't.
She just likes attention, and when it's not on her, she does what she has to do to get it on her.
You know, I've tried my luck over the years with a few roommates, and living together creates a really stressful environment. So I sort of decided a smaller, singular place is better for myself. But we see this time and time again. People are best friends, they live together, a boyfriend comes along, a child comes along, and there's just too many variables to keep the relationship the same. And I think it's really unfortunate, but we've seen it
More young people, I think, for economics, move in together as roommates, more so than when I was young in the Stone Age. But you know, the truth is, it's hard enough to live with somebody that you really love and make concessions for usually their foibles or their behavior, whatever. And then always there's a third party involved in that mix that gets sort of nasty. I agree with you, Sarah. I think living smaller alone is better.
Yeah, I took your advice on that, and I don't regret it.